Typically, a tiger will gorge itself on a fresh kill, eating as much as 40 pounds of meat at one time. After a meal of that size, a tiger will usually not eat again for several days, and neither would you, considering that that is the human equivalent of eating around 150 hamburgers in one sitting.
WCS works with many species of tigers in the wild and at the zoo. Here's a note from one of our field scientists.
Now, you guys, there is no standing at any point during the monorail.
In Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Farul Amama. I'm helping the rangers of the national park in doing their forest patrol. There was a time when we found some tigers
Please sit down.
jungle. But then we also found that some snares are installed inside the forest, which become threats to the animal. We dismantle the snares to make sure that the tiger are safe.
Now, like I said before, these animals that you're going to see right in front of you right now, these are the gaur from the exhibit just beforehand, the world's largest undomesticated cattle. Now, we didn't get the best view on the other side, but you can't get much closer to a gaur than this. Not in the wild, not anywhere. Now, if you guys are interested or seeing a better view of a different tiger, because let's face it, that one is the best view, you can actually head on down to Tiger Mountain, which is just a short walk away from the monorail. Now, out in this meadow, you can actually see two different species. This large honey-colored deer who's walking down towards the train are called the Barasinga deer. Those two smaller animals who are frolicking out in the meadow, those are called the black buck antelope. The black buck antelope is a sexually dimorphic species, meaning that the males look differently than females do. The male is the one with the dark chocolatey brown coloration and beautiful set of horns, while the female has a lighter tan coloration and no horns. Now, in just a moment, we will be reaching some tall bamboo. When we do, we know we've reached our next environment. If you spot what looks like a pig with tusks that erupt through the top of its snout and curve on back towards its eyes, then you would be looking at a babarusa. Babarusa meaning pig's ear in the Malay language. Males of this species are the ones that grow those curved tusks, while females generally do not, though they do share the same dark coloration that helps them blend in well with the muddy area that they call home on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. But if those babarusa are being a little bit too hard to spot today, don't worry, you're not going to miss our next land mammal, considering that it weighs in at around 10,000 pounds. We are going to be observing our Asian elephants that we have here at the Bronx Zoo, Happy and Patty. Now it is at once again this point in our tour that I must ask everybody to remain seated and also secure your face masks back on your face, not only for your safety but for the safety of others around you. Now once again, we must be seated.
Elephant.
You guys, we gotta sit down.
Ahmed, sit down.
Yes, I can see all the way back there. We have cameras.
WCS works in the field with both African and Asian elephants. Here's a note from our field scientists who work with Asian elephants.
My name is Dani Gunaryadi, and I'm the Elephant Conservation Coordinator for WCS Indonesia. The first time
Please sit down.
an elephant, I thought, this is a magnificent creature. They will be safe because they are so big. But the truth is, they have declined 50% since the 1980s. Even though rats and insects cause more damage to crops than elephants. Because the elephant is so huge, psychologically, it seems more threatening. So when there is conflict, the farmers poison the elephants. In response, we created a crop protection unit to mitigate conflict and send the elephants back into the park. And it's been a huge success. Since we started in 2003, no elephants and no people have been killed.
Now, as we leave the elephant zone behind, I need everybody to be very, very quiet for our next animal. She is fairly new to the monorail and she's also fairly young, so we want this to be a good experience for her. She'll be walking away from us in just a moment. Her name is Priya, and she is a 5-year-old Indian rhinoceros. Once again, I do ask that we please remain very quiet for her. Please don't call her. Do not call her name, please.
The rhinos you see here are Indian rhinos. We work with habitats all over the world that are homes to rhinos. Here is a note from our field office in Sumatra, and Hulan, who works with the Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos are the smallest of the world's rhinos, and they are considered critically endangered.
My name is Wulan Pusparini, and I'm the Species Conservation Specialist for WCS Indonesia program. We carried out an island-wide survey of the last wild population of Sumatran rhinoceros in Indonesia. With so many unknowns on how to manage Sumatran rhinos in the wild or captivity, our studies showed definitively that we must protect them at source. The cost of doing nothing could be the extinction of the species, and I can't imagine that.
Taking care of our rhinos is fairly easy. Breeding, however, can be a bit of a challenge. Rhinos are pregnant for up to 16 months. When they give birth to their baby that weighs in at around 100 pounds, they'll stick around for 2 to 3 years, although weaning may take only around 12 to 15 of those months. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we have had the joy of having 11 baby rhinos born right here in the Bronx, and Priya is one of our most recent babies. Like I said before, she's only around 5 to 6 years old. Now, people often describe rhinos as armor-plated, but they're actually covered in a layer of skin that has many, many folds. Though those folds may look thick and they may look tough, they're actually pretty sensitive and need protection from the sun and from insects. Rhinos, both here and in the wild, use mud wallows much like the one in front of us in order to protect their skin. They climb right on down in there, kick, roll, and stretch until they make it the perfect place to lay down and take a nice midday nap. What the mud provides for the rhino is a thick layer between their skin and the sun. It prevents them from getting sunburnt or overheating. It also has the added benefit of keeping insects and bugs away. On this field, we have several different species of deer and antelope. I will be speaking about each of these species. If you spot them, share them with your group. If you spot a rather large, dark brown deer with a beautiful set of antlers, you will be looking at the sandbar deer. Sandbar deer are the largest deer in Southeast Asia. Individuals weigh in at approximately 650 pounds. Males generally like to roam around alone, while females roam around in small herds for protection. They can grow their antlers up to 3 feet long with up to 3 points on each bar. As you can see, our males are currently growing in their antlers for the new mating season. Antlers are very different from horns in that animals with antlers can actually shed them off and regrow them, so they can have multiple pairs of antlers throughout their entire life. But animals that do have horns, say like a rhino or a goat, they actually have one set throughout their entire lifetime, and that set of horns usually grows with them throughout their entire life. Animals like antelope also have horns. In the case of these antelope that we have in this environment, which are the nilgai antelope, only the males of this species have a set of horns. It's a sharp triangular set of horns. Nilgai do get their name because of the coloration of the male of the species. Male nilgai have a much darker coloration than the tan females you'll see before you. Male nilgai have a darkish gray coloration that runs down their neck and back. As they age and mature, that color will actually turn to a blackish blue color, earning the name the nilgai or the blue bull. You guys please do not let the children hang over the bars. The next species that we'll be talking about will be the hog deer. Very short deer with a light tan coloration and a velvety looking appearance. Hog deer get their name because they are short, stout, and sturdy like little hogs. They also like to behave like hogs. They creep, run low, duck, and hide under things, unlike most other deer. The hog deer inside of this environment can often be found hiding behind these large rocks and trees in the environment, as well as behind any bushes that they can find if they haven't nibbled them away already. And last but not least, inside this smaller environment, if you Now, the rocky terrain in this next environment is the perfect place for our next two species that we're looking for: wild mountain goats. The first species that we will encounter here is called a markhor, or a snake eater goat. They're beautiful spiral horns. Females grow their horns out to